Okay, welcome back. I'm now going to continue this 32 and 32 series. This time I will be looking at the Colorado Avalanche. So this past season they finished with a record of 50, 25, and 7, 107 points on the year. Despite the fact they had 107 points, they actually finished third in that Central Division. That was a very tight division going down to the wire. Unfortunately, the Avalanche weren't able to get first place, but they had a hell of a season to say the least. So they played the Winnipeg Jets in round one, beat them in 5 games, and then unfortunately they lost to the Dallas Stars in 6 games in round number 2. So I'll take a look, as always, with some players to see who's still there, who may have potentially went elsewhere. And first on the list is Zach Parise. So he came over on a very cheap contract this past season. He just wanted to win. And being 39, 40 years old, you know he doesn't have a whole lot left in the tank. I'm not 100% certain if he has retired, but if I was a betting man, I'd say that he very well likely will, unless he decides to try to play one more year. But one more year would be like the absolute stretch. I don't see him playing past the 2025 campaign if he plays at all. So Brandon Duhaime came over from the Minnesota Wild in a trade last year, and I will take a gander to see if his name is on this list. And it is not, so I have a funny feeling he probably signed with another team because, yeah, his name is not on their roster for this upcoming season. Yakov Trenin came over from the Nashville Predators in a trade this past season, and I'll take a look to see if his name is on this list as well. And it is not, so it's a very good chance both Duhaime and Trenin would have and could have signed with another team. Caleb Jones, his contract did expire this past season. He only signed a 1-year deal anyway with Colorado, but there's no news as of yet to where he might be or might be signing. Casey Middlestat came over from the Buffalo Sabres last year. He was on the last year of his contract, and there's nothing yet etched in stone, I do believe. Oh, sorry, I say that and now I bite my tongue. He has signed a 2-year deal with the Colorado Avalanche, which is effective, which will take him into the 2025-2026 season. And this is exactly what they needed. They needed a number 2 center. Since Kadri left after the 2022 championship season, they have not been able to find that number 2 center, and now I believe they have found that missing piece. Jonathan Drouin is coming back on a 1-year deal to play with his friend and former teammate Nathan MacKinnon. So he had a fantastic season last year, I'm not going to lie, which really bums me out because anytime I talk about Jonathan Drouin being a Montreal Canadiens fan, he did not seem like himself in his tenure with the Habs. And then he goes to Colorado and he looks absolutely amazing. So it just bugs the crap out of me that we had him for X amount of years, but unfortunately we were not able to get the best out of Drouin. Andrew Cogliano's contract did expire, but he also has announced his retirement. And he had a heck of a career, I'll put it that way. And obviously, capping it off was the championship with the Avs back in 2022. Jack Johnson, we'll take a look and see if he is on this list. He is still on this list, so I don't think he has signed with anybody else, but being 36, possibly 37, by the time next season rolls around, his window is definitely closing, to say the least, on his career. Chris Wagner came over in a signing, I do believe, with the Colorado Avalanche on a 1-year deal. His contract did expire, but he has signed a 1-year deal worth the same amount of money, so he's guaranteed to be an Av for this upcoming season. Joel Kiviranta, there's no news yet on him. He is also a UFA, so I'm sure he can decide to sign wherever he so chooses. Sean Walker, take a look and see if he is on this list. And he's not, so he very well could have signed with another team. And I should say this as a quick little side note, Calvin DeHaan, I know I was talking about him with the Tampa Bay Lightning, but he has signed a deal with the Colorado Avalanche. Devin Taye's contract did expire this past year, but he has signed, as you can see on the screen, a 7-year, $7.25 million contract. And Sam Malinsky's contract doesn't expire until next season. And I'll take a look at the goaltending situation. So the only reason I have 4 goalies on this team is because I have a bit of OCD whenever I do my playoff brackets, and all 4 of these goalies were technically in the lineup. Georgiev played all the games, but the first guy you can see is Justus Annunen. He was a backup for most of the games, and I'll get to the other guys in just a second. So Justus, if I'm pronouncing that name correctly, his contract did expire, but he has signed a 2-year, $840,000 contract, so he's guaranteed to be in Colorado for at least 2 more seasons. Ivan Prosvetov, I believe, was called up because of Annanen's absence. Wow, try saying that 5 times fast. Annanen's absence. His contract did expire, so we'll see what his future holds. Arvid Holm only backed up Georgiev for 1 game. His contract did expire, so what his future holds, who knows? Probably going to be a backup at best, unless he goes back and forth between the AHL and the NHL. Speaking of on their potential last year, Georgiev is coming into the last year of his contract, so I'm sure there'll be contract negotiations and talks to try to get this guy signed long term. I mean, the Avs did everything they could to pull him away from New York, and they've made the playoffs 2 seasons in a row, but unfortunately they haven't had a whole lot of success with Georgiev in net. Alrighty, that takes care of this recap as this 32 and 32 series continues with the Colorado Avalanche. As always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative. Until next time, and as always, take care.